Hello again, my friends, and you are my friends, and welcome to another match day ticket with me, your host, Martin the Governor. Mine's a pint. Normally, this time of year, probably a pint of the Newcastle Brown Ale, a fine drop. So if you've got some, pour it. If not, let us know what your tipple of choice before today's game would be. It's an interesting lineup. It's sure to get those in the pub talking, and I'm looking forward to talking it through with my two guests. I can see comments already flying into the comments section, and I absolutely love that. So, of course, get your comments in on the show and everything else. As always, we have got some donation links if you want to support the show and continue to grow. I know a few of you have expressed wishes to recently. We thank you ever so much in doing so. We've got Leando with the Cornish Pale Ale. That sounds like a lovely drop. Joe Green, afternoon. Hope you're all well. Sore feet. Martin, how can you defend him today? Toto and Judge. Well, sore feet, we'll get into that very shortly, my friend. Callie, the man, the myth, the legend. Gibbs will get slated post-match by Paul Lambert, even if he has a game of his life. Nick Muller just phoned Ipswich to say if you want to go, then your name gets put in the ballot. That's how they may do it. Okay. And Andrew, welcome in, Andrew. Afternoon, guys. I'm multitasking between watching you and the darts. I'm going for a draw or a 2-1 defeat. Lovely. Get those comments in. I'll welcome our first guest. He is a regular on the channel. He is our resident hard truth. He brings it every single game. It is, of course, Mr. Richard Moss, the Cruncher. Welcome in, Crunch.
Matt's got some special beers. Have you got them? Special beers. Herman's Icelandic IPA, Ambrose Amber Ale, and Holland's Heart of Dublin. There you go, with a bit of a Charlton twist.
Absolutely lovely. Mine's definitely a pint of the... What was the Holland one?
Holland's Heart of Dublin.
Sounds good. Daniel believes bye-bye Lambert off to Celtic after this game. Facebook user, that midfield is worrying me. We'll get into the team very shortly. But if you are a Facebook user and you want your name on the screen, such as Matt Stannard here, who is after a nice pint of the Ghost Ship, fine tipple. Have you had the non-alcoholic version of that Ghost Ship, by the way? Just to side off.
Who, me?
Yeah.
No. Coffee today. Coffee at the minute, but it's going to get a lot stronger, I fear.
Fair enough. But if you do want your name on the screen, you have to give us permission. Just click the link in the description and say, yes, that's it. I don't store it. I don't have it. I don't get any information from it. It just allows me to put your name on the screen, such as Callie. What about Bent's Brown Ale? Russell Claydon, Clue in Bury Free Press interview in summer, Reed Gibbs, which I'm sure is his paper. He's one of the most talented people I've worked with. I wouldn't rule out anything for Liam. I think he's got potential to be a top player. So, before we get into today's team, let's bring in a new contributor, Crunch. He is, of course, our resident comedian on the circuit. He brings it every week. He brings some fine lines. So, I'm really looking forward to seeing what we get this afternoon from how to describe this gentleman. He is our Lee Mack. It is, of course, Adam Flatt.
Hello, gentlemen. Hello.
Hello.
Afternoon.
Working for Capital One.
That's a big intro.
Well, it is,
no pressure.
No
pressure.
Adam, you look like you're at a call centre.
I'm at work. I'm at work. It's the only place I can go to where I'm not going to get pestered by two young children. So, big up Gary Slade, the man.
Gary Slade knows. Andrew's after a part of the Ghost Ship. Matt Stannard. Yes, it's actually as good as... yes, it is a really good non-alcoholic drop. So, let's have today's team on the screen, shall we? It's an interesting lineup. It's 4-2-3-1, I believe. Let's start with the goalkeeper, because let's start with the goalkeeper. Di Cornell makes a league appearance over Thomas Holy. What do we think of that one, gentlemen? Because it's an interesting one, isn't it? No one saw that one coming.
No, it's an interesting one. I think you guys have probably said before on here. I think I've said that I think Cornell's probably a little bit better with the ball at his feet than Holy is, so might be a little bit more inducive to playing out from the back. Don't necessarily think Holy's done anything wrong these last couple of games. I don't really think you can level any of the goals that we've conceded over the last few games at him, but I don't know, maybe see Lambert's... I don't know, he's throwing something at the wall and hoping it sticks, maybe. I don't know. But, yeah, big call.
He's after a spark, isn't he, Rich? He's done it throughout the team, but he's after something else.
I don't think there's a lot between the keepers anyway. I think it's Cornell's obviously his chance now. Hopefully he doesn't get into sort of last season where he was Norris to play a few games and Holy was back in. I think Cornell's going to get a run in the side now, and I've not been that impressed with what I've seen so far. But then I'm not really that impressed with Thomas Holy. So they're average, aren't they? They're average League One goalkeepers, both of them. So
yeah,
I think Adam's nailed it there. He's better with the ball at his feet. That's probably why he's got the nod today. And let's hope he doesn't make an error with his feet.
Sorry, I was going to say, let's just hope we don't concede an early free kick in this game like we did against Portsmouth. Well, yes, let's hope he set his wall up a little bit better this time as well. Hey?
Those things were going to happen, though, especially having not played a lot of games. But Stuart Codling, with today's lineup, we've got no chance. Interesting, Callie does mention the penalty that went straight through Holy. And it did. It really did. He was invisible. He did. As a goalie, if you get two hands on any ball, you expect to save it. You are expected to save it.
He's going the wrong way. He was off balance.
He's 9 foot tall. Should be saving it. I think Adam said something very interesting off air in regards to giving Holy the extension, because obviously he's not great with the ball at his feet. If that is how you want to play, did you really want to extend a goalkeeper that can't play in that way?
Well, we did. Go on, Adam. Go on.
Sorry, no. I was what sort of the things that sort of floating around in my head. When you're looking at the Cornell signing, I don't know whether it might have been better to free up wages and bring in, like you've seen some other clubs do. I think Rochdale brought in a young keeper from Man City. Doncaster had, I think, a young Stoke goalkeeper. And what you see sometimes with these younger goalkeepers maybe loaned in from the Championship and the Premier League, they're all really comfortable with the ball at their feet because that's how they've been brought up to play as modern day goalkeepers. So there's a part of me that thinks if he was never sold on Holy as a goalkeeper, which he wasn't last season, then maybe signing Cornell was the wrong thing to do, and we should have loaned in a young Premier League goalkeeper, spent the wages maybe in other areas of the pitch. But in terms of Holy's contract extension, I think it's just to protect us in salary cap era. I think that's what you're seeing us, so we don't lose too many of these players. I think that's what you're seeing. But that's my thoughts on the keeper. I just think maybe we could have used the wages a little bit better.
I agree with that, and I think Crunch probably would agree with that as well. So Crunch, Toto Nsiala. We've been talking about Paul Lambert's press conferences, what he says, what he doesn't say, and I've been saying I would pay very little to what he says publicly and pay more attention to what happens, such as team sheets. Is Mark McGuinness being held accountable? Because we have spent in recent weeks, Stephen Ward has not looked the player he has next to McGuinness. Is this accountability playing out in front of us? McGuinness out, Toto in.
I've not been impressed with McGuinness. What I've seen, he come with a big rap from Arsenal. I heard the next Tony Adams.
Yep.
I've seen nothing to sort of back that up so far. And like I said before, we're developing another club's player.
Yep.
He's learning on the job. He's making mistakes on the job, and we can't afford that. We can't afford to do that. If it was Corey and Dabba playing and he was making mistakes, he's our player. You know, he'd be learning, and we're going to benefit from him. Whereas Mark McGuinness, we're not. If James Wilson was fit, I think he would have started personally. Toto gets another go. I wouldn't have been against today bringing in Donasian at right back and putting Chambers in the centre with Wolf, but he's obviously not done that. Toto, we all know Matt's already put on the group another penalty incoming, so we just have to see how he goes, wouldn't it? Really, but.
Yeah,
I'm not. Look, it is what it is. He's only got so many players available at the minute, and he can sort of mix and match. And he's got his hands tied a little bit, hasn't he?
He has, yeah. I think this is the role I envisaged for Toto in the summer. That the third, fourth centre back coming in when he needs to, and trying to force his way back in the side. You know?
Hang on.
No, you're all right, no problem, Adam. And this is it, isn't it? This is a big chance for Toto. He's had his issues, such as penalties, as Matt has said off air. But today is a big chance for him, because if he plays well, that's your shirt to lose.
Definitely. He's really got to eradicate mistakes from his game, though. I think, if he's going to be and I think it's been said before, maybe by some other people, that look, Chambers is 35, Stephen Ward's 35. We need to start looking to some of these players, longevity for some of these players. And Enciala, we spent the best part of £1 million on him. I think wasn't it? We got him and Nolan for $2 million or whatever, and we signed a pair of them. So we've invested money in him and wages. So really, we've got to start getting some of that back. He needs to eradicate errors from his game. He's got to be less rash. I think he's looked okay in terms of playing out from the back. I wish he was a little bit more positive instead of just turning back and playing back to the goalkeeper. But it's a chance for him. It really is, because I totally agree with Cruncher there. Mark McGuinness hasn't impressed me that much. I think the best game I've seen him play is the one he played for Arsenal against us. So I don't think he's set the world on fire. But there we go. It's what we've got at the moment. It is bare bones, isn't it? Let's be honest. What we've got. So we're having to. There's not an awful lot of changes that you can do there, but you're spot on about Corey and Dabba. Absolutely, I can't understand why we're developing someone else's players when we've got our own that need developing.
Cruncher, Toto, he's a situation player. Is what I'd call him. If the situation around him is well, he plays well. So if Ward, Wolfenden, and McGavin have a good game, and there's not so many runners coming at him, not so many situations such as Sunderland where the ball's looped into the box, he's okay. It's when the things start falling down around him and the live bullets start flying into the box, when he starts to switch himself off and the composure is just not there, is it?
I thought he got away with one. They didn't really speak about it last Saturday against Shrewsbury when it was 1-1 in the second half.
That was an absolute stonewall penalty, wasn't it? I know they didn't give it.
Adam,
yeah.
He comes in from the side. If you watch the ball was the giveaway for me, because if he gets someone on the ball changes direction. The ball just continued. The ref was in a great position, and I was just waiting for him to point to the spot. So he got away with one there, and no one really
massively got away with one there. That was nuts. That I'm staggered that wasn't a penalty.
He's Manuel Thetis reincarnated.
Well, Manuel Thetis scored that overhead kick at West Brom, didn't he? Where he flicked it up in the air while he was on his backside and then hooked it in the net until and then he headbutted someone. Until Toto does something like that, then goes down in folklore. Do you remember there was a game? I don't know if it was last season or if it was a game in the Premier League. Premier League. What am I talking about? In the Championship season when we were relegated, where he got thrown on and he ended up in midfield. Do you remember? It might have been the game against Rotherham or Wigan when we were winning, and Lambert threw him on and he was ended up in centre mid, and that's well, here we go. Man, jack of all trades, master of none, Toto Enciala. Absolutely.
So midfield, it's interesting. It could be a 4-3-3 with McGavin, then Andre and Gibbs, or it could be McGavin and Andre and Gibbs. Either way, it's a 3. Is it the right 3? Are we excited to see this 3?
He can play wide as well, Martin. He played wide, I think, in the was it in one of the EFL Trophy games? So he can play there. I did. When I predicted my lineup, I did say McGavin and Andre in front of the back 4 as a 2, and then I had Judge. 4-2-3-1. Judge was me 10. So look, it's a big call. It's a massive call, and he's sort of come from nowhere. He's played. They said he played really well in the Youth Cup game on Monday night, but we played Chelmsford. Today he's playing against Charlton. So it's a massive step up for him. He's been at the club since he was 9. He's captain the 15-16s, very highly rated. Look, good luck to him. That's all I can say. But what I don't want to see is we have a poor first half and then he gets hooked like McGavin did against Fleetwood. I don't want to see that happening.
Well, I don't. McGavin didn't get hooked from that game because of McGavin's performance. He got hooked because the team was playing absolutely.
Because he was the easy target, Martin. He was the easy target from the manager.
Absolutely. Look, if you're Gibbs today, it's a free hit, and Adam, just go out there and enjoy it. Go out there and play natural stuff because you've got nothing to lose as a young player.
Definitely. Although there is a concern that bringing young players into a struggling team that aren't performing very well, isn't always the best environment for their development. It's a big call for him though, but yeah, I want to say I think he's probably the nearest midfielder that we've got that maybe can replace what we lose with Bishop. Maybe picking the ball up, driving runs, beating a man, Because you weren't going to get that with Emma Hughes, were you? You're not going to get that with McGavin. You're not going to get that with Dazelle. So if it had been that three, I think would have been a big struggle. Yeah, massive call though. But I'm really looking forward to seeing him.
This is more of a statement, isn't it, to senior players within the squad, some that are not even in the squad anymore. This is more of a statement to them, isn't it, Cruncher? This is more of you've not done the job.
Look, I think I said on either Sunday's pod or the Thursday, the preview against Charlton, I said, Hughes, what I've seen, he looks leggy, he looks overweight, he's a million miles away from the player that we had on loan. And I know he's suffered from injuries. For me, he's finished at Ipswich. He's finished. He ain't going to get a new contract. And if it means Gibbs playing, if it means McGavin playing ahead of him, I'm all for it. I know that's a big call, but these are like you've said, transition season. Next season, it could be. This is probably you might be seeing the start of this today with them three in midfield. I know Andre's his contract's out end of the season. I'm hoping they sort that out. But going forward, well, I'm not so confident. But going forward, this is probably what you're going to get. And look, I'm all for them. Throw him in, see how they do. McGavin, I think he's done all right in the two previous games. People said, could he play 3 games in a week? He's a young lad. Look, he should have it in his legs. Definitely. You'd rather play than train, wouldn't you?
Yeah, see, I'm really excited because, as you know, I've said transition year from the summer. And for me, seeing 3 young players like that is exciting stuff because it's playing out what I thought in real life. I'm seeing it all play out. I'm seeing young players that this time next year will be almost twice as good. I mean, more ready. Idris El Mazzani's out on loan. I'm going to mention it. The only question mark is Armando Dobra. He isn't in this 18 again. For me, he's not ready. Every time I've seen him, he's looked okay, but not anywhere near really first team against men.
So is a Liam Gibbs ahead of him then?
The answer is yes.
I find that strange, Adam. I really do. Because I said on Thursday, we had Stuart Watson mentioned it in his in the paper on Wednesday. So you had one midfielder on that bench, which you've got today in Jack. Sears got injured. That was your midfield done. He had 3 strikers on there. 3 strikers. We're playing with one. Aaron Drinan, he's on there again today, but he's played no football. He can't be anywhere near match fit. So why is he not taken off the bench? And Dobra's got to be on the bench, Martin. He's at least good enough to be on that substitutes bench.
Yes, he definitely is, without a doubt. So
what's going on?
But McGuinness can play in midfield.
I mean, with Dobra, there's obviously something there. Lambert's, it's point scoring, isn't it? It's making a point to everybody. You should have gone out on loan. And I listened to the Kings of Anglia podcast, and I think Andy Warren made a good point. He said that's a good thing, isn't it, that a young player wants to stay and fight for his place in the first team. Certainly when there's a lot of injuries. I don't know.
I disagree. It's almost too cushy. It's almost too cushy.
I can see that argument.
It's character building, isn't it? Think about going to university, for example. You've got to move out. You've got to, live at different digs. You've got to see different people, be the new guy. It's not comfortable. It's not cushy.
Yeah, I get that.
When your manager says to you, go out on loan, son.
Maybe he should have done. Maybe he should have done. But, look at the injuries we've got, though. The injuries we've got.
When he's got players injured. Because, like they say, you cut your nose off to spite your face. And that's what Paul Lambert's doing. He is making a point because he has to be. He has to be now, doesn't he?
Yeah, but that's what every manager does. Every manager will cut their nose off to spite their face because they will be determined to be right. That's a manager.
Yeah.
I mean, look at Mick. He often was criticised for being this way. I remember him saying in a game, the more you call for a player, the less you'll see him.
Yeah. If you chanted for a player, he wasn't going to do it, was he?
Madness. But that's management. You be like that.
Well, I think if we struggle again today to create chances, we look toothless up front. The noise for Dobra is gonna get even bigger, isn't it? There's more questions to put to Lambert. But what you were saying, Martin, his comments about senior players being an easy target yesterday. You're right about what you say, that what he's telling us and what he's telling the press is completely different to what he's telling people behind the scenes. Because Emma Hughes has just completely gone out of the side, and like you say, there's we might not see him in an Ipswich shirt again for a long time.
Absolutely. Speaking of which, a player who many will say shouldn't be in the side, I think probably all 3 of us on this show are the same. has another reprieve. His name is Mr. Alan Judge. What do we expect? Or is this the last chance saloon for Adam,
Is it?
for Alan Judge?
Is it?
This is what I'm asking. Is it?
I don't think it is, because he just keeps picking him. He keeps picking him. Look, I hope that he sticks two fingers up to all three of us today, bangs in a couple of goals with an assist. We'll all be happy. We want him to play well, but he's not been playing well, has he?
No.
You can't have anyone who really says he's been the Alan Judge that we all expect to be in this league. He should be ripping it up in this league. He really should, but he doesn't.
I just don't think he's suited to that wide role. I think he's lost since that injury. I think he's lost so much pace. I just don't. And you know, his discipline as well to stay out there and be an outlet for us. You know, on that flank, I just don't think he's got the discipline to do it. He drifts inside too much. Wants the ball in the number 10 spot, which is probably where I would play him, Alan Judge, as a number 10. If you're going to play him, you play him in his proper position. But I don't know. I think, you know, like you say, does he need a big performance today? Because you could have said that about hundreds of games in the past. We need a big one from Alan Judge today, and then lo and behold, he plays poorly, and he's there the next week. So, you know.
Yeah, I said it Tuesday. I think we all said it on the show Tuesday. We need a big game from Judge. Didn't get it. If he can replicate his blocking form from Twitter, he'll be a fine player, because he's on fire, blocking people left and right the other week.
I think his crossing's got to improve, hasn't it? You know, it did the rounds on Twitter, didn't it? He got down the left, and he even had time to cut back onto his right foot and then shank the ball pretty much down the other end of the pitch to Keenan Bennett, who then set Hull away onto a really good chance. So
I think what Crunch says there is true. You expected Alan Judge to really sort of rip this league up, and I actually think what you're seeing is a player who just literally is.
It's in decline.
Yeah, no decline. It was a cliff. He just was bang, gone. But he's a player why I'm not so sure about managers, as in like removing one and bringing another one in now, because he's here of one okay loan spell of 8 to 12 games, maybe a few more. Like, that's the reason why he won that deal, because he looked okay in a struggling side. Everyone to a man at the time would have said, got to sign Alan Judge. He'll whip it up in the league below.
Last season, when he was linked with QPR, we all said, no, don't get rid of him, keep him.
Yeah, hindsight and all that. I think, had we sold him at the start of last season, it probably would have sent the wrong message out. You know, why are we selling our better players? You know, because that's been thrown at Evans before, hasn't it? Selling our better players and stuff. And eve of a new season, we sell Alan Judge, and it's like, what are you doing? Why are we selling our better players? But yeah, I suppose hindsight.
Yeah, Gary Slade looked okay. Wasn't sensational. 1 assist and no goals in that loan spell. Yeah, but he looked the best player in that team, which doesn't say a lot, because that team was really bad, but it was. Daniel Carter, Callie, sure it's quite good when they're being... I don't know what that was about. JT, can we give some impression for Crunch's Christmas tree? We certainly can. Audi, 25 quid, not sponsored this show. Norwood, up front on his own. Crunch's mate, Keenan Bennett, that's the remainder of the 11. Would you rather have seen Jack Lancaster play there instead of Keenan Bennett? I know Crunch would have done, but Adam?
Jack Lancaster wasn't brilliant the other night, but he wasn't alone, was he? Let's be honest. I know Cruncher didn't think he played well. I thought Bennett's was all right in patches. He got worse as the game went on. I thought he started quite brightly. Probably had our better chances. Looked like he wanted to do something. Yes, it didn't always come off, but he looked like he wanted to make something happen. And I do sort of agree with Lambert when it comes to looking after Jack Lancaster, because 2 bad back injuries for a young lad. I mean, as I say, given how thin the squad is, I suppose if we can protect him a little bit, we don't want him to break down and then we never see him again, you know. But
2 games he started on the bench, but he's been on early in both of them. So.
Yeah. He what was it? When was it? 20 odd minutes when Sears went off on Tuesday night, and he played the the best part of the rest of that. So. I really like Jack Lancaster. I thought when he burst onto the scene in that relegation season, he was probably one of the only bright spots from that team that went down, and it was a damn shame he got injured in that season, because I think we'd have seen lots from him that season. But as I say, those injuries take their toll on a young man. So I don't want him to go the way of a a Teddy Bishop where his career is blighted by injuries until he has to pack it in. I don't want that for another Town player. So
No,
we can wrap him in cotton wool, then that's good. And if he comes off the bench and tears it up, then great. Brilliant.
And I think he will. And Facebook user says managers have their favourites, and Judge clearly is Paul Lambert, like Douglas was for McCarthy.
He must be amazing in training, Judge. He must be awesome in training. Amazing.
Everyone is in training. But I wanted to show you very quickly before we go to our bold predictions. Something Adam Flatt brought to my attention. I'll bring it on the screen right now. This was Adam. Talk us through it.
So there's an app called SofaScore. There's absolutely tons of stats on there. There's tons of information on there. That is I think it's average player positions on Tuesday night I think that's the team that started. So I think you can see 20 is Freddie Sears, and his sort of numbers greyed out because he came off for a while. But yeah, that's the average position of our players on Tuesday night against Hull. That's the positions they took up. That's where they have spent.
Use your coaching badges. What's going on now?
It looks like I don't know. Where's Norwood?
It's 10. Is Norwood 10? Norwood's 10, 17's Bennett's.
Well, so we are 21st on the list for percentage of play in opposition's third. 18th in League One for crosses, 16th in League One for touches in the box, 13th in the League One for shots per game, 11th for goals scored. So that sort of says a lot of sort of what you're showing there. But today, Charlton have got Darren Prattley and Chris Gunter playing centre-backs, a midfielder and a right-back, Martin. I'd have liked another striker in there to really get at them, put them under pressure. They let 4 in at Burton, 2 from playing out from the back. So
yeah, I agree with that. Completely agree with that. Right, so as they come out of the tunnel, bold predictions. I've got Nick Muller 3-1 Ipswich, Stuart Codling 0-1 defeat. Cruncher, you go first. What is your bold prediction for today's scoreline?
1-1.
1-1. Goal scorer?
Norwood. I just think it's a game. Look, I know we all sit here and we want to win, but if it was a draw, you're not giving. They're going to be a rival, and a promotion rival. You're not going to give them the point. Look, I want to win the game, but I think it'll be 1-0.
Adam?
So my head says we'll lose this game, but I'm not going to use my head today. I'm going to use my heart, and I'm going to say we're going to win 2-0. A rare Tato Enciala goal from a corner, and then Jack Lancaster off the bench in the second half. 2-0.
Hock says Windows will be safe after today's game. The new Gardner, 7-0. Judge got 4, and Kay's gone for an Andre scoreline. I'm going to go 3-0 Town. We're back at half time, so join us then. Come on, you Blues. It's going to be 3 points today. I can feel it.
Come on.